25 plus combustion sources for preparedness and survival. Hello, my friends. Thanks for joining me on the video today. Before we get into the list, just want to talk about the top 5 uses first for a fire in a survival situation. The first, and I think the primary, would be to regulate body temperature, especially through the warmth of a fire. Secondly, to cook and to boil water. Third is for illumination. 4 is going to be for safety and security against bugs, wild animals, and to actually signal for help. And lastly, it's the psychological comfort, the morale boost that you get from a fire. Now let's go ahead and get into the list. We'll start with the most primitive and work our way up to the modern day. The first item would be the fire plough. The second item would be the hand drill. And the third item is going to be the bow drill. Now, these three are very primitive in nature, but with that being said, the majority of the people on Earth don't know how to actually make fire from these means. The skill has been lost. There are people who do obviously know how to do this, but the average person doesn't. You can make fire from ice as a magnifier to help focus sunlight. You can use fire pistons, which have been used for hundreds of years and in some areas of the world, potentially even thousands of years. They're also known as fire syringes. You can use good old flint and steel or the modern variants of ferrocerium and steel strikers, also known as a ferro rod. You can use a spark wheel or even an empty lighter. They call them dead lighters, and just use the flint on the lighter to create sparks, to create fire. You can use a magnifier, like a magnifying glass, or reading glasses. You could also use a bottle of water in a clear plastic or glass container. You could also use light bulbs filled with water as well as a magnifier to focus light on a source of tinder to create fire. Flint, steel, and magnesium shavings work, as well as a whole line of matches that are available in the modern day. You have strike anywhere matches, and of course you have store matches, even metal matches. You also have a full line in the modern day of various lighters, butane lighters, jet lighters, of all different sizes as well. You also have flashlight reflectors that can be used. You can take the reflector out of the flashlight and use it to focus light to create heat for combustion. What about solar reflectors? Now, these are becoming more popular, but just like the Fresnel lens, the magnifier, you're dependent on sunlight, so you can't really use these at night to create fire. What about batteries? Batteries could be used in conjunction with various other elements, such as a smaller battery, like a AAA battery, a C or D battery, even a 9-volt, could be paired up with a gum wrapper made of aluminum, maybe even steel wool. What about battery and jumper cables on a pencil or foil? Absolutely. What about road flares? Absolutely. What about chemical fires like potassium permanganate and glycerin? You could also mix those with sugar if you want a smoke fire or a signal fire, and you can mix it with a little bit of water if you want it to accelerate the fire. So you can use water as an accelerant with potassium permanganate and glycerin. If you were in dire straits, even though this is fairly toxic, you could use chlorine and brake fluid, but I would only do that if you really had to create fire. You could use a high-powered LED spotlight or flashlight to create fire. And of course, one of my favorite is to use a laser to create fire. If you have any further ideas, feel free to share them. As always, thanks for coming along, for checking out the video. You guys take care.